Welcome back. It's European Relegations. Adonis here, joined by Anatoly. And as you can see on the standings there, we started off with 2 draws the first set, so all seemed nice and even, but Fantastic and Cyclone finding themselves 2-0 in their last matches, really starting to separate themselves from whatever and from Torpedo, and looking like the teams that are going to be qualifying to the SPL.
Yes, and this next set, Cyclone GG against whatever, with Cyclone having that 4 points. If they find at least 1 win out of these 2, that's going to guarantee them a spot into the SPL fall split.
These are the last matches, which means, like you said, Cyclone need a single, not win, like a draw. They just need one of the 2 games. Meanwhile, whatever, if they lose either one of these games, they are out. They need a 2-0 to keep themselves in the running. And we're going to have the final match, Torpedo versus Fantastic. After that, it's going to be the same thing for Torpedo, where they're going to need to find themselves with 2 wins to still hang in there.
So we could technically have a 4-way tie with every team single having 4 points each.
Please no.
I was afraid that every team would draw every single match.
I was scared too.
But now we're still in that realistic opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if we see a 2-0 here. This is interesting, though. I mean, Cyclone's starting to look very good. Like maybe even the best team out of these 4. And whatever on kind of the other end of that. I was a little bit worried about kind of their god pools, where we've seen Wlfy play only the ROM. I believe in the mid lane, we've only seen Aiurz play the Janus, and only 1 or 2 gods from everyone else. They haven't really seemed to switch up their style. They seem to have a set strategy in mind, but that strategy doesn't seem to be working.
And they've adapted really well. They executed brilliantly against Torpedo, formerly in the SPL, now trying to get out of this relegation and get back into the SPL. So Cyclone definitely turning up in that last set.
Well, we'll see how it goes here. Game 1 of the picks and bans, and Cyclone, they just need a single win to find themselves in the SPL. And Cyclone Spin, I mean, Cyclone GG. I heard Hindu doing it too, or Hindu or F-Dot, one of the 2. They were both like saying Cyclone Spin a couple times. We're just so used to saying Cyclone's name, okay? Doesn't count. But, I mean, VoteNBK, he's been in the SPL. Wlfy's only subbed, same with Kalas. iceicebabyy and Deathwalker, no experience there. So this is a very limited team. I'm going to be really excited if they can find themselves in it.
And they're against the side of whatever. No numbers, plays pretty well. We've seen him in the Challenger Cup. He's made some miraculous plays with the Raven and the Bologna, but that was only during Challenger Cup. We really haven't seen him turn up today specifically. Pikachu has been also pretty hit or miss for the most part.
Wow.
Aiurz has been pretty good with the Janus. And now we have, surprisingly, a first ban Ymir coming out of whatever.
This is some PTSD there. I remember, you remember in the first game they played up against Game Hunter, and he ran the Ymir solo and absolutely destroyed that solo lane matchup, and honestly was the reason that whatever ended up losing the game. I don't know if Cyclone, if they have a player who runs Ymir at that high of a level, but apparently it's something whatever don't even want to risk knowing.
I actually wish that I was casting that set with F-Dot, because that would be kind of like E-Honda Zangief matchup. Ymir in the solo lane against Sobek. So he'd be screaming Sobek, I'd be screaming Ymir.
That'd be pretty crazy. That'd be hilarious. Just you 2 just yelling about the solo lane. But picks and bans. Wukong was also banned by whatever. On the other side, Fafnir taken out. We've really started to see him kind of rise into first pick potential, along with the Ryzen.
And other than Fafnir, Bacchus has been a very highly contested support pick recently, so whatever's instantly going to grab that. Cyclone GG not wanting to have the Freya and Bacchus on the same team, going to take that option away. I
mean, we also saw VoteNBK just the past couple, like, his Freya is really good, and now that Golden Bow isn't in the meta, we're starting to see those players who dabble into the mages and, you know, Freya's Soul Chronos specifically start to bring those out into their god pools more. Nemesis is actually going to be paired in, in the jungle with that.
And with this Freya in the dual lane for NBK, Wlfy is known to play physical hunters in the mid lane, so we could see Hu-Yi, we could see the Neith for them. Apollo going to get taken by whatever, though.
Apollo locked in, so there's the dual lane for whatever, and it is a switch up from Wlfy. We've only really seen him play ROM so far. He's going to go back to the Apollo, but Aiurz is sticking with the Janus. This is his 5th game, his 5th Janus game, and it seems like HalfDevil going away from the Bacchus, or the Geb, starting to stick more to the Bacchus.
And based off of those picks, Bacchus has been picked 4 times already in today's relegations, and every single time it's been picked, it's found a win.
Bacchus is good, man. Bacchus is really deadly. He did receive a nerf recently, too. The not too big, but Intoxicate now only 6 seconds instead of 8, which does kind of matter at the end of fights.
It does, but that's not really why you're picking the Bacchus.
No, you're not
for that.
picking-
It's like, oh boy, they made it from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Well, I guess I can't pick Bacchus anymore.
You're probably already dead by that 6-second marker,
Yes.
and if you're not, then you've probably made it out. Neith's going to be the final pick for Cyclone, so like you said, probably that Neith going into the mid lane, that physical hunter, switching up from the the standard mage. Bans are out as well. Odin, Athena, so supports locked away by whatever. They already have the Bacchus, and then Susano, Hunbat, so targeting out the jungle.
And with the jungle bans targeted out, also a few solo lane bans taken away. Odin was taken away, Athena taken away for the support position. Guan Yu being capitalized with the Odin ban, so smart pickup from Cyclone taking that option.
And we're going to have to see Pikachu go a little bit deeper into his god pool. He'd only played the Susano and Hunbat so far, so he's going to go straight to the Serqet. A lot of mobility on whatever squad, right? Not only the Apollo and the Janus for the globals, but Serqet very mobile in the jungle as well.
You would need something to survive the Serqet. Ultimate Kali is a good option potentially, although Nemesis being picked up, so that's more than likely going to be in the jungle position unless it's going to be a warrior in the support role. You could see potentially Guan Yu Freya. However, I kind of expect Guan Yu to go into solo.
Well, final pick from Cyclone here. And it is going to be the Guan Yu in the solo lane. Aiurz and Freya. Interesting duo lane. What are your thoughts on that?
There's a decent amount of kill potential. This also forces out the enemy support to pick up the purification to deal with this Aiurz. You do not want to get pulled by this Aiurz.
Well, Callus is actually pretty well known for his Aiurz. I remember when he first started playing for Paradigm, everyone's like, oh, it's the Aiurz guy. All he plays is Aiurz. And he plays it very well. He actually played it, I think he picked it at DreamHack as well. I don't think they won with it, though.
Either way, it's still always a solid pick. It has, next to Bacchus, those two are one of the highest damaging supports. Next to them would be probably Ymir.
Little basic attack battle.
That's it, they won.
But it's only, I thought it's only hunters, though. Doesn't it only count with hunters?
It doesn't matter who does it.
Doesn't matter, so
Yeah.
we've already called it Cyclone.
That's it.
GG.
Cyclone GG wins.
Cyclone GG, GG in the SPL, done.
That's right. They get this win because of that first in hand, and now they're in the SPL.
Well, VoteNBK is probably happy there, rocking the Frost Maiden skin, but she's back in the meta. I'm excited. She's actually started off with a Tiny Trinket there, and we've seen Tiny Trinket, thanks to the buff of Bancroft, really start to creep back into some starting builds. We see a couple mid laners go it. Not this match, though, as Aiurz is going for that Chronos Pendant early. And any shenanigans, Tolly?
Trying to spot it out. Not really seeing anything too crazy. We do see Neith in the mid lane with the Sanctuary instead of the Purification.
Okay.
So Serqet could potentially CC her long enough to get the damage off. Now, obviously, you're trying to buy time from the Serqet last poison breath.
And Serqet's going to be interesting. So both of these teams have really good pick potential, right? Obviously, Bacchus is going to be very mobile. You have the ultimate coming online from Aiurz as well. And the Pikachu, right? Serqet very good at kind of just jumping on someone and 100 to zeroing them, maybe with a little bit of support. And also that anti-healing, which we don't really talk about too much, is going to be very useful against the Guan Yu if he wants to look over in the solo lane.
Yes, normally we see junglers that have anti-healing, such as Serqet or maybe Odin, get a lot of CDR online quicker rather than later. So we might even see Breastplate of Valor on her if she wants to primarily focus this Guan Yu. It would be a decent option.
I mean, you also have to have the risk of, having your protection stripped away, though, by the Nemesis. So, I mean, it might help Nemesis in that situation, but early on, nothing crazy. Left-hand side, you could see whatever actually pushing up the wave onto Cyclone. So, a little bit of pressure onto that Freya and Aiurz, kind of to be expected unless they can get control of the lane, and it's a little bit risky for whatever.
And look at this ward that was placed in the mid lane by Cyclone. They cleared the mid wave first, dropped the ward. They recognized that Serqet was nowhere around to be found. Basically played very passive in the solo lane as a result because they knew Serqet was somewhere lingering between solo and mid. And as a result, they know exactly where whatever's rotation is from that mid lane with those triple wards.
Yeah, that's that kind of belt of wards. You don't really see that too often. I mean, you'll see kind of a couple, or like maybe one or two early on, but in the mid, it's typically more towards the mid game where you see that for the rotations. But they definitely want to be aware of where Aiurz and Pikachu are at all times. And I think, to me, that kind of tells me that Cyclone's just trying to farm it out until a little bit later into the game. They don't want to get rotated on. They probably don't want to look for rotations.
You definitely have the better late game. You look at the side lanes. Guan Yu is going to be more efficient than some Wukong in team fights, so you don't want to put your Guan Yu in a deficit position where he's going to get constantly
I've never
ganked.
seen that ward. I'm interrupting you. Look at that unicorn. I've never... When did we put that in the... Have you seen that one?
It's the first time for me, too.
I want that ward.
It's all right.
Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's apparently a Summer of Smite ward, I'm being told. So there you go. Neith ult to the right-hand side. It looks like a very early gank on its own. Wukong, not even level 5. No numbers gets picked off, and that's not a good start for whatever, but a great one for Cyclone. Already up that first gold bounty.
And that's huge for a Guan Yu, because you're not supposed to be winning this early game matchup, and now because of that early kill, it's going to be able to farm, get a lot more experience. With that, the teleport will be down for the Sun Wukong, only having tier 2 warrior type. So Guan Yu will back with the tier 3 and then continue to bully the Sun Wukong.
It's actually a gank set up by Pikachu. You could see him waiting around kind of those mid camps, but he actually backs off. And that's one of the strengths of that Neith in the middle, like the Neith anywhere on the map, right? You always have to be cognizant of if her ult is up, and even if I'm not going to die to my lane opponent right now, if he has a Neith ult on top of that, can he kill me?
And the interesting thing about it, the positioning of no numbers was around the blue buff of whatever.
Invading?
There was just nothing, there was not really much to do around that point. It was around the 2-minute mark.
I mean, maybe he was trying to get the better of Deathwalker, but just didn't expect kind of the rotation from that Nemesis and obviously the Neith ult. But red buff going to be invaded successfully by Cyclone. No one there to defend. You can see a mass rotation over the right-hand side by whatever. I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to set up there. Maybe looking, I think they actually invaded the speed buff.
Yeah, so it was a trade. It was a speed buff that was invaded from the side of whatever, but they do lose their red buff in the process, slightly hurting the Apollo, allowing the Freya to kind of get a little bit of a lead.
I mean, is that kind of an even trade, right? I mean, obviously you lose the speed buff and more importantly, give it over to Pikachu so he can rotate like crazy, but your mid laner also won't have his red buff. And I mean, Janus likes to be in fights early, likes to rotate. Trouble though on the right-hand side for Deathwalker. He's going to ult over to his tower, and it doesn't seem like Pikachu wants to chase him.
Yeah, this is a bad position for Deathwalker. His speed buff got invaded. His blue buff's now getting invaded. It's going to be really rough for him. But it seems that with this right side pressure, there could be a little bit more on the side of the left lane, but it doesn't look like Cyclone GG really want to do anything about that open space.
I mean, maybe looking for the gold theory, but I mean, it's clear that Cyclone's game plan is to farm, right? You send the Neith arrow in case someone's in trouble or you want to set up a gank, but outside of that, don't look to force anything and just play incredibly passive. I mean, we've seen 2 invades, like 2 fights as well, but no one over 1,000 damage in the game at the 4.5-minute mark.
And the good thing for Cyclone currently is that whatever speed and blue are still up, so if they wanted to invade that, that would be a potential option. Neith ultimate is available as HalfDevil was trying to poke out Wlfy. Going to be able to jump away as Loves uses his dash away. NBK going to back to base, more than likely going to pick up some boots.
Boots 3 online, so a little bit of penetration and also mobility. Definitely doesn't want to get caught out against that Serqet. And I am surprised that we didn't see Serqet take a visit over to the dual lane. Freya actually one of the more easily gankable gods in the game.
That's true. Even when she does go into the ultimate form, she'll be taking any sort of damage over time. And that's a good idea to shut down a Freya in this early game, as well as allowing your Apollo to keep snowballing that lane, because then he could look for some 1v1s on his own afterwards.
I mean, even despite the 1v1s, just having him be able to freely rotate and not have to worry about his tower getting pushed because he's, you know, so far ahead. He is going to hit level 8 here, and it looks like he wants to be aggressive, but he's going to get whooped, and Callus is around the corner as well. Wlfy just going to dash out, though. Definitely doesn't want to fight into the Aiurz just yet. He does have his purification online, though, so has the ult counter.
Also, he would more than likely want to use his ultimate for the CC immunity instead of using the longer duration cooldown of the purification. Just going to be able to mez and dash away. Meanwhile, HalfDevil kind of slapping against each other with Callus, but it looks like NBK's in a little bit of trouble.
And he's going to be forced to ult there very early, and here comes Callus's ult as well. He's going to pull at least one. There comes HalfDevil on the top, though. iceicebabyy probably going to die. Has the Serqet poison on top of him. That should be enough damage to finish him off, but HalfDevil, he was the first to fall in the engagement. Wlfy, nice Spirit Arrow, finds Pikachu as well, and overall a 2-for-1 for Cyclone.
So that was an interesting idea for Freya to use the ultimate early on, just to be able to not to get knocked up, but there was nobody really that close to follow up off of the belly flop. I would have liked to see more holding on to that position, and with that, that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Cyclone.
Yeah, I mean, HalfDevil, like, it was clear that they wanted the gank onto the Freya, but he took so much damage from Callus's chains. I think he got 3 chained just getting there, and then he was guaranteed dead on top of the Aiurz pool for the 1v1.
It was a level 7 Aiurz at the time against a level 6 Bacchus, so in that fight, you don't want to take it, especially, well, now he has the Mark of the Vanguard, so he's going to be able to mitigate a lot of that damage over time, but you definitely want to pick your fights a little better.
And Aiurz 0-0-1, who's able to rotate over there. He was a little bit low. I thought he was going to get jumped on, but not yet. Pikachu, though, has this ward advantage right here and actually might be trying to set up a gank, looking for someone to counter ward, and he's actually going to have the double Death Bane, and he's looking for more, but not enough. Just a significant amount of poke, and I think he actually forcing out Shell on the Aiurz.
And with that, left side mid-harpies are going to go in favor of whatever, just kind of slowing things down. A lot of warding control on the side of Cyclone and the Gold Fury. One sentry on the gold, top and bottom side behind the Gold Fury, completely warded.
I mean, look at the wards placed graph on the left-hand side. I mean, even on the right, they have 2 up just to make sure anyone who rotates in and out of that soul lane or jungle are going to be spotted out. 5-4-3-2, they're topping the ward charts. All of their players outside of VoteNBK, who's just looking to farm and play passively. And he has wards on his side, so he doesn't need to.
Yeah, against an Apollo, you definitely have to keep that side of the map lit up like a Christmas tree, making sure there's no early Gold Fury being taken. Against Bacchus, that could easily intoxicate, and you could potentially have the Sun Wukong rotate as well with a decoy, tanking the Gold Fury. That would be a really good idea.
No Wrath, though, on either team just yet. I mean, they might pick it up later. All right, Tully, let's talk a little bit about relics.
Sure.
Because we've actually seen a pretty strong and actually a fair amount of different relics. Actually, Callus, though, trying to set up a gank, but I think he spotted out, kind of popped that chain a little too early.
It probably should have allowed Pikachu to come a little bit closer to continue the chain number 2 and 3 combination, but either way, letting them know that they're there and that you're not going to be coming into our jungle side.
But, like, there's actually a variety of relics. We're seeing the Wrath picked up on some supports, but not all. We're actually seeing a wide range. Even on junglers, we'll see some go into that very early Wrath if they need that extra pressure.
It just depends on your team style. If you're feeling confident that you'll be able to get the Gold Furies, or if you're afraid for whatever reason the enemy might be able to be a little bit more on the point of that, so you're trying to battle their Wrath with your own.
And no one's going to really be able to look at that just yet. Wlfy, though, going to get knocked up and dash away. Just focusing that, trying to get that banish to force Wlfy a little bit out of lane and make sure he gets lane control. And actually working on that Fatalis, rank 2 right now. That's when Freya really comes online, right?
Yes.
Kind of that 3-item, like obviously Fatalis boots is good, but the 3-item Freya specifically is what's really powerful.
And this could be a good opportunity for Apollo to start taking the trades against Freya before the Fatalis comes online. You have the lifesteal on your Aussie to get back a lot of any sort of poke that NBK does. And even if you can force a purification or maybe the ultimate of NBK, you can have Pikachu follow up very quickly.
We might see Wlfy be forced to ult here, Callus around the corner, but actually not even going to chain. That's really, I mean, look at all the war. Look at, we talked about the wars before.
It's lit,
even like, it's really lit right now. Like Sylvanas is almost on this map. There's 5 on the left-hand side, 1 in the mid, and 2 on the right-hand side. Whatever, or excuse me, Cyclone has full vision control, but still don't look to force out Wlfy's ult there.
Even going for chains in that situation would have been really safe. Just electing to go into the front line minion wave, just trying to share the farm basically. So with that, just going to be a little bit of reset. However, Callus hiding in the left side mid harpies, trying to get in a position to maybe force some relics currently. Sentry on the bottom left side in the favor of whatever currently.
And you could see Cyclone still controlling that top side of the mid camps there. Wants to make sure to have full vision. It's going to be a split on the red buff. And a counter ward coming out right now from whatever. And once again, Pikachu trying to set up someone, trying to bait someone in, but he's by himself and up against an Aiurz. That's what's always scary if you're trying to like bait kills on a Serqet against an Aiurz. You get chained. You have to purify. You cannot risk staying there.
There's no way you can realistically survive against that unless you can find. You would have to probably trade your ultimate, honestly, unless you don't want to burn the purification.
Deathwalker actually going to go aggressive here. No numbers. He's going to trade out his ult as well. But aggression on left-hand side. It's a full-on bait 4 members. Wlfy's going to find it. He's going to get taunted. Hit by an unstable vortex. Forced to Sanctuary as Callus tries to defend, taking the brunt of the damage. The shell going to play such an important part in keeping him alive. 1 hit, though. No numbers under tower. Finds it finally. And Wlfy picks up Wlfy as well. 2 for 0 in favor of whatever. And Pikachu going to be forced back, so no Gold Fury, but still 2 pickoffs.
Deathwalker makes the rotation, so this could still be a 4-on-4 fight, but NBK electing to instead stay in the duel lane, get some important gold and experience. Fatalis has finished for NBK, so could look for some 1v1s, but there is a rotation from HalfDevil as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a Freya, you kind of got to play really safe, especially after he got... Especially after 2 of his teammates just died. And speaking of that, that was a beautiful bait from whatever. We actually saw Pikachu set those up. That's the 3rd time. We actually, and kind of in the same spot every single time. But the first time he was actually able to capitalize off it. A lot of that thanks to kind of the rest of his team actually being there instead of doing it by himself this time.
So warding situation still in the favor of whatever, making sure that they control the Gold Fury. Cyclone grouped up. They do have 2 sentries in their inventory, so they're definitely going to look to do that. However, Pikachu is looking to protect the wards, just hovering between the duo and mid lane as he's making a rotation around NBK. Ultimate of Serqet is still down, however.
Right over a ward, though, so he's going to be spotted out. And, yeah, I mean, I like what Pikachu's doing. He's sitting in the jungle. He's actually sharing experience, though. You could actually see him when he's hugging those walls, right? He's making sure to split with his mid. We see him split with his left-hand side as well. Counter wards, though, back in favor of Cyclone, and Pikachu doesn't want to give this up for free.
No, not connecting on the taunt poisons, unfortunately, for whatever. So Cyclone going to be able to control a little bit of vision there. HalfDevil making the initiation, getting the stun off, but not getting the knockup. And as a response, Nemesis ulti immediately back.
Oh, trouble for HalfDevil right now, but here comes the teleport from No Numbers, and Guan on the wrong side of the map. iceicebabyy absolutely destroyed, was just in the middle of 5 players, and the rest of his team was playing very defensively. With the rotation of Deathwalker, though, it doesn't seem like whatever want to force the Gold Fury, but once again, just doing really well off these picks.
And the few members are relatively low. Aiurz are about 75%. HalfDevil, half health, beautiful double root coming out of Neith in the mid lane, and that should force whatever back in this position because the Guan is staying on top.
This actually allowed kind of VoteNBK to get a little bit of solo farm there, making sure to keep up with the Apollo as everyone was kind of centered around the mid lane, but could be a Gold Fury attempt right now, but ward vision isn't in Cyclone's favor, so probably not going to do that. No wards in the inventory either. Or no, excuse me, sentry wards in the inventory.
Just got to take it easy currently. 13.5 minutes into the game. Whatever are currently up about 700 gold. Not too much to write about. Experience, however, they're up about 1,800. A little bit on the side of the jungle, about 1 level of lead. Not too much, really.
Anyone else? Support, maybe? No? They're pretty even, and Wlfy has a level as well.
I think Freya might be half a level behind. That's about it.
That's not too bad. She's even in gold, so she's all good and well right now. But players are getting close to level 12, so we're going to start to see the second relics come out. Meditation and teleport online for both solo laners, and both mid laners have gone for the self-preservation, purification, and sanctuary relics.
And surprisingly, we do see Mystical Mail onto the Guan, bringing it way back old school.
More. I've seen Mystical Mail picked up a lot more recently. Is there a reason?
For a Guan, I don't really like it because I like my style of Guan is staying in my backline to constantly heal my teammates.
I have a question because I'm really not sure. Does it proc his passive? Because it's damn it, if he's in the range of enemy gods and he's ticking on them, does it proc the passive?
I would assume it's only on his Talus ult, but I could be wrong.
I mean, it's any damage he does. But
so
I don't know if it's the god or if items count as well.
I would assume that it would count towards the Mystical Mail because it would count towards Bluestone Pendant, I'm assuming, as well.
Yes.
So therefore, it should work also on the Mystical Mail.
Does it count towards Bluestone Pendant?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah. Okay. So that's why he's got Mystical Mail. He's going to stack up that passive. He's going to have extra heals and also an extra pick onto Wlfy, forced to purify. And it's going to be a double jump forward from HalfDevil. He's got the Intoxicate, but unfortunately he takes the portal he doesn't want to as Aiurz ults into the team fight. It's a lot of poke, but it seems like there should be able to be a successful disengage. But here come Kalas's ult, looking to pull a couple, and it's going to be the first kill onto Pikachu.
And Aiurz trying to find the kill onto NBK, aggressively taking a portal, forced to use Sanctuary. We have Apollo in the sky landing onto NBK. Finally, Kalas finds the pick onto Aiurz, but not before Pikachu fell a little bit earlier. HalfDevil trying to survive, but iceicebabyy is here, and NBK is going to secure with a whoop.
I mean, that was an engage from whatever, but they ended up losing that 3-for-0. Don't find a single kill. Not only a great disengage from whatever, but also the ability to kite around that tower, keep themselves alive, and the meditation to keep VoteNBK specifically alive. It's going to be a Gold Fury as well. Cyclone GG, and a pretty decent lead right now, and Kalas is lagging.
Yeah, unfortunately, trying to do a little bit too much. However, trading his life for the Apollo is definitely worth. They also get the Gold Fury on top of that. They do lose Tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. Good little split push coming out of No Numbers, at least getting a little bit of gold in his team's pocket.
Listen, you know what Kalas said? He's like, listen, I could just I could back off and hit the back button, but I'd rather get to the fountain faster to buy my Tier 2 urchin.
That's true.
That's what he said.
That's true.
He actually tweeted at me.
He just tweeted at you?
Yeah, he's like, yo, I just need to get back to get my urchin. He was a little bit worried, but Cyclone finally find themselves with the lead. Not too massive, but it was in whatever's favor earlier, so swung back in their direction right now. 1,100, 9,000, or excuse me, 900 experience separating the teams. Ice in a little bit of trouble here.
He should be fine. Use the purification, so he's still able to walk away from that ultimate of Pikachu. No problem. And left side mid Harpy's going to get taken by HalfDevil. Not really too much going on as Wlfy has been taken. HalfDevil missing the belly flop. Beautiful disengage by Wlfy.
And that was very important for him because he actually burned his purifications in the last engagement. So has to be a little scared in that scenario. Remember, guys, Cyclone only need a single game to secure themselves in the SPL. They already have 4 points from a win earlier and as well as a draw against Fantastic. And they just need one of these two. Meanwhile, whatever, they need both wins to stay in the running. If they lose one, they're out.
And if they get both of these wins, I'll hold on that thought, as the left lane is going to be a gank. NBK taking a lot of damage from that Toxic A, forced to go in the sky, doing a lot of return damage onto Lofes, and with that World Weaver,
he's out.
He's going to die.
That's so unfortunate, and now trouble for HalfDevil, but the rotation from Aiurz should help him out a little bit. VoteNBK, one more hit, Unstable Vortex connects, and it's going to be a traded 1-for-1 kill, but here comes Kalos' ult. Pikachu, does he have Purification? He does not. Immediately Nemesis ulted, but a great job by HalfDevil finding the knock-up and making sure to keep his Serqet alive.
Hunter for Hunter being traded, a lot of rotations from both teams. Not really much happening on the other side of things, as we do have Deathwalker split pushing in the mid lane. Meanwhile, yet again, No Numbers trying to get at his second tier 1 tower.
And he's going to run into Wlfy though, so good defense in the mid lane. But Pikachu once again looping around. Just going to counter the ward right now. Going to find iceicebabyy in the jungle along with the Aiurz. And immediately his counter ward goes bye-bye as well.
Looks like Deathwalker is successful in his push, getting that tier 1 solo tower, so trading that from earlier on.
Look at this. The pings, and it's going to be a rotation. Oh, Pikachu used Deathbane, and there goes the stun as well coming up from the Wrath. iceicebabyy, he's going to steal the speed buff and might be able to steal the life of No Numbers as well. He's going to get chased down. Ultimate is online for No Numbers, so he is going to be safe inside that Somersault Cloud, but a successfully stolen speed buff by iceicebabyy.
Now we have a 4-man grouping in the mid lane by Cyclone GG, trying to extend a little bit of a lead that they've established. And with Deathwalker being level 18 currently, this is a good time to start grouping up and taking advantage of these heals, especially with Breastplate of Valor and Meditation.
He's going to be able to spam them pretty often, but with whatever's grouping, it doesn't seem like Cyclone really want to take a full 5-on-5 team fight just yet. They could just look for a pick. They're going to heal up still with the Guan. The ward goes down in the mid, and Pikachu waiting around the corner, but he's pinged out once again on top of ward. The ward vision has been so good for Cyclone, always aware of where their opponents are at all points in the game.
And iceicebabyy now taking the position that Pikachu was just in, being spotted by No Numbers, and with that, HalfDevil is going to try to find a stun, but there's no follow-up. You definitely don't want to go in a level 19 Guan on the side of your tower.
A little bit of a poke war there. HalfDevil, he's in trouble. Doesn't take too much damage, but gonna jump in place. Trouble for Deathwalker now. Kalos is gonna pull one into the back by himself, but it's only the Sun Wukong who's gonna be able to get out. Aiurz from the side, finds the ultimate, but right now, whatever's getting pushed back on all fronts. They've already found one kill onto HalfDevil. The Neith arrow, it's gonna connect, but not gonna be enough damage to finish off the Sun Wukong. I can't even see his health bar.
The whoop that caught the Apollo in the backline, the blink from the Aiurz to follow up. That's gonna be 2 kills, and it's gonna be a tier 1 tower. Make that 3.
And there it is. Cyclone taking full control of this game. 11-6 in kills. They're going to find the tier 1. 3 kills, like you said, 2,800 gold in the lead, and they're out to add 1,500 more after they take this tier 2. No Numbers in position, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop it.
No, not at all. 5 members grouped up with the Guan use sustain. There's really not much No Numbers can do. He doesn't have the ultimate to us. I thought he just used that.
I thought he did too, but I guess he didn't. But anyways, Pikachu now hanging around by himself. Needs to be careful not to get chained, but the tier 2 does fall. No Numbers ult is forced, and Gold Fury just about to spawn.
So the strategy that last team fight engage was to blow up Deathwalker with the Serqet ultimate. Unfortunately, the triple dash wasn't quite on the mark to follow up.
Did he only hit 1 or 2?
Unfortunately, it was just a really good counter dash by Deathwalker that avoided the triple dash from Pikachu. And with that, there wasn't much follow-up from whatever, so Deathwalker escapes, the poisons run away, and then he's still able to sustain the rest of his team. If they're able to take out Deathwalker, then they could win the team fights.
We have actually an attempted Fire Giant, but it's spotted out by Cyclone, and Deathwalker just going to ult to make sure it doesn't happen. HalfDevil still hanging around, though. Same with Wlfy and the rest of his squad, but there's the disengage. It was a nice attempt from whatever, but spotted out quickly with the teleport from the Guan Yu.
And we do have a heavy aggressive rotation from Cyclone, trying to establish some ward control. Not on the mark with the root, but on the mark with Unstable Vortex. And Guan Yu's going to have to stick around to keep sustaining everybody up.
I mean, this poke is very efficient, honestly, from both teams. But the issue right now, for whatever, is this Guan Yu on Cyclone. HalfDevil jumps in by himself. No one else was even around. And he's immediately going to be counter-ulted by the Nemesis. And he's kind of baited his team inside as well. Aiurz is going to be whooped, forced to purify. But he doesn't walk towards a wall. There's the CC immunity, so Aiurz is going to make it out. But the issue is the rest of the team is still stuck in mid lane. No numbers, can't get his ult off in time. Serqet barely managed to get out, and now this is an opportunity for either Gold Fury or Fire Giant. 2-0,
Janus escaping, Neith backing as well. Looks like the objectives are going to hold on as speed buff is available. 4 members on the side of Cyclone grouped around the Fire Giant. Neith coming back from the base. There's not really much steal potential on the side of whatever.
This is done, right? And there's also the Wrath from Nemesis, so there's absolutely no one who can defend this unless Aiurz hits a max range ult, but it's still not going to be enough damage. Fire Giant to Cyclone, looking good to find themselves into the SPL right now.
Only 1 win away. They're definitely feeling it. They're going to play very safe right now. They're just going to back, spend the gold in hand, a little bit that they have, get ready for the Gold Fury, get ready to start pushing these last remaining tier 2 towers, and then maybe go for the Phoenixes, or maybe try to establish more ward control and get the next Fire Giant after that.
This is really nice from whatever, though. They're going to be able to find the tier 1 in the left, and they don't get the, oh, that's so unfortunate. Aiurz actually electing to take care of the minions instead of getting another 500 gold for his team, but they're going to back off. They also had the opportunity to do the Gold Fury, but elect not to, playing it a little bit safer.
They don't want to get caught out because one whoop would just spell trouble from the Janus. The purification is down, and if he doesn't use through space and time at the right time, he'll fall as well.
Well, there's through space and time through Callus and no one else as they
tried to steal the Gold Fury.
It was oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely a nice attempt, and he has CDR online 20%, so his ult will be up before the next fight more than likely, and it seems like whatever, they're going to give up both their towers on the left-hand side.
They're smart.
Likely to defend their Phoenix, but they're just going to be split pushing for now.
Definitely very smart. It's what you want to do when you have an Apollo. You can have no numbers tank these towers, no problem. You have a Serqet and an Apollo that's going to be able to clear the tower.
Racing.
They might as well trade their Phoenix for Phoenix, but you're going to have 2 members from Cyclone backing to defend this. You even have no numbers using the decoy just to be able to eliminate the backdoor protections.
Oh, Pikachu in a little bit of trouble, runs straight back into the Nemesis, and he's going to die. Wlfy ults out. The Phoenix actually stands, but the tier 2 in the mid should fall. No numbers, no ult. He's going to be chased down eventually. The speed buff a little bit too strong. Wlfy by himself is going to be able to take out the left Phoenix. So successfully, Cyclone actually find a couple picks. Wlfy, though, he wants to take this 1v1. There's the Mez lining it up and waiting for HalfDevil to rotate in as well. Nice crit, 3-12, and the last hit on him doesn't even need the help of HalfDevil. Nice pick by Wlfy. It's actually going to kind of delay this Fire Giant push.
That was a really nice play by Wlfy, trying to get something back in return. He also positioned himself that forced Wlfy to have his back turned towards the Bacchus, so didn't see that coming. The stun was beautiful. The backflip didn't come out in time.
Well, the Hunter's dead, but the Freya's still alive. Ultimate from HalfDevil. The Intoxicate trying to make it hard for Cyclone to find the hits onto the Phoenix, but it seems like this is going to fall anyway. Callus, he's going to ult as well, looking for the pull. Only finds HalfDevil, but that might be enough with the help of the chains. The portal from Aiurz not going to find anyone, but 2 Phoenixes down, and was that a sprint pop?
That was a sprint pop. HalfDevil finding the knockup, but it is countered by the flames from Callus. The stun's going to connect on Stable Vortex, a little off the mark. Deathwalker going on his horse, trying to find the pick onto HalfDevil, but the portal just not quite in range.
Oh, trouble for Pikachu. He's going to get Nim ulted, forced to run away. iceicebabyy, great stun, and he's going to be stopped in his tracks. Pikachu is going to survive, but on the other side, Aiurz needs to get close to a wall so he can take the portal out. There it is. No numbers. Intercepts the Neith. No, it was a little bit late. I thought that was going to be there faster. Wlfy finds the connect onto Aiurz. He's going to fall, and now no numbers in trouble as well. Going to be forced up into the sky. Pikachu on the side doing everything he can to stop this, but the fire minions starting to rain into the base.
It's just too much right now for whatever to handle. 2 Phoenixes being down. The last remaining tier 2 tower is all that stands between the last Phoenix and then the inevitable Titan push.
Cyclone looking to make it into the SPL, 17-7 in kills, 8,000 gold lead, about to be 9,500. 11,000 experience up as well. They're looking very good in this match, and honestly, very dominant in the entirety of the relegations.
Yes, but now it's very important for Cyclone not to get too far ahead of themselves. Look at the patience after the tier 2 tower. They don't overextend for that Phoenix. They're pulling it back a little bit, they know, and the fact that Fire Giant's about to despawn, it's respawning in about a minute and 10 seconds, which means they only have the buff for 10 more seconds. So if their push fails and they lose that fight, then it's going to be whatever's turn to get the Fire Giant and making a slow and steady comeback.
Well, the Fire Giant is about to spawn here in about another minute, maybe a little bit less. No numbers, level 20. He's actually going to be popping his red potion here quickly. They have been changed. Now level 10, also a little bit more power than the old red pot, as well as kind of this Bluestone-esque passive. So no numbers, not even wanting to get another item online. He only has 4 right now. He knows that this is going to be such an important fight that if he loses it or tries to hold on to his gold, it's just going to be a waste of time. And here comes a split push.
They're trying to
I mean, this is a backdoor. Are they trying to end? I think they are. All 5 members right now of whatever grouped up. We're 26 minutes in, and they're missing actually just one. It's going to be HalfDevil trying to stop the backs. This should be a Phoenix at the very least. Cyclone, they recognize what's going on. HalfDevil can't stop everyone. There's Neith there to the base. Same with Deathwalker, but that's going to be a snuck Phoenix. Well played.
As long as they can force everyone from whatever not to back, there's 2 fire waves in that Titan room that will win the game for Cyclone.
Oh, Wlfy is by himself. He's going to find the meds, and he's going to ult as well, trying to get away, but he can't get up into the air in time. Pikachu caught out by iceicebabyy. Here comes Collis as well. The Neith ult is going to be there as well. It should find Pikachu eventually, but he is going to get back. Still, though, there is going to be the Janus back into base, so whatever, they get the Phoenix, and they don't lose just yet, but it's not going to be easy.
No, not at all. Fire Giant is available. Pikachu getting spotted out. He uses his dash away safely, and it looks like Cyclone have the win in their sights. They're not even electing to go to Fire Giant. They picked out Wlfy, and with this 5-on-4 advantage, they're going for the win.
They have Titans as well. Excuse me, Fire Minions as well. Creeping into this one. Trouble right now for NBK. He's isolated by himself, but here comes the full-on dive. Cyclone, they want to make it into the SPL. HalfDevil doing everything he can to stop them in their tracks. VoteNBK, he's going to go up into the sky, and that's going to be it. Welcome to the SPL. Cyclone GG, Deathwalker, iceicebabyy, Wlfy, Collis, and VoteNBK specifically is going to be back in it, but just absolute monstrous performance across this entire relegation.
Yeah, I'm really surprised with the performance from every team individually and some of the players as well, but making some good decisions. We've seen some bad ones as well, but for the most part, Cyclone GG playing lights out currently. The first team out of the European side of things to qualify for that SPL fall split.
I'm really excited. Having a team kind of come out of the Challenger Cup, it's always exciting to see because in a lot of situations, the SPL teams are pretty far ahead of the Challenger teams, but this time, I mean, EU is very competitive across the board. Even Torpedo are looking like they may not even make it back in.
They definitely had a change of style for the most part. We've known European teams to be a little bit more passive and careful about their play style. Usually, 40-plus minute games dating back to Season 0 and Season 1. And nowadays, we see, Panthera playing very aggressively. And all of these relegation teams as well, they're just playing very aggressive. They're not afraid to fight. They know what to take objectively afterwards, and they're just going to make plays right away.
Well, exciting stuff right now for Cyclone, and Wlfy makes it into the SPL, so Rapio does not have to eat his toe. That's probably the most important thing.
Was there something?
Rapio, the rival player, the rival jungler for console, he said he was gonna. It wasn't eat his toe. Excuse me, he was cut off his toe if Wlfy doesn't make it in, but he made it, so it's all good. But Wlfy's kind of been around for a while. He actually subbed for Fnatic, I believe, either last year or earlier this year in the spring split. So he's had his chances. VoteNBK on upcoming stars last year as well. Collis, obviously, on the Paradigm sub squad, actually made it into DreamHack since Trix couldn't. So, I mean, this team has a lot of kind of that fringe experience. So, seeing how they grow and develop in the SPL is going to be probably the most exciting thing to watch.
Yeah, first team to qualify. They played really well. And second game, it's not really going to matter, unfortunately, for whatever, because now
they're out.
They're unfortunately out.
They're out. But we're going to